Shawnee, welcome back. Guess what time it is? It is time for our weekly roundup, where I go over all of the eyeshadow palettes I used over the past week and I rank them from least liked to most liked. Now this video is going to be a bit shorter. I don't know why. Did we have a shorter week? I'm not quite sure. But I have 5 slots today, and I even have a single shadow thrown in there. So at number 5, that's where the single shadow comes up. So we're jumping right into it. I used the Sydney Grace Morning Star eyeshadow. It's this pretty shimmer. And I paired that with a very popular palette in my, rotation of palettes. Guess what it is? You already know. It's the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. I love this palette. So I used some of the browns just to deepen out the outer corner of the look as I paired it with the shimmer. Here's the thing. I love this palette so much. I love it. And I was thinking, when Jessa and I go see Danessa in May, I'm acting like we're just going to have dinner. I mean, if she wants to, I totally will. I'm wondering, should I take this? Like, no, hold on. Back up. I'm going to take this. But should I take it to the event? Do you think she would sign it? You know the other thing? Tracy is sending me her Groundwork palette. She got it in what is like the Beautylish Lucky Bag, and which I swore I would never purchase again. But she's like, not really my thing. Lots of complications. And she was like, would you like it? And I was like, do I like chocolate? Yes. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I love my friends. All right. Okay, that was number 5. Number 4 is the palette that I used to do my makeup in my office when I was talking about the nudes, and that is the Nabla Side by Side Nude Palette, the baby version. Did I say this was number 4? It's number 4. And this palette is like the more condensed version of the original Side by Side Nude palette that they have, the brand has. That is and has been one of my favorite nude palettes. There was just so much like variety and depth and lots of like neutral shades, and I panned I think like 4 shades in that palette. And just as I was thinking it might be time to declutter just because I've had it for so long, they came out with this for me. Not for me, but they came out with the baby version and I immediately jumped on it. It has 3 shimmers and 6 mattes. The only thing I would like if one of these, maybe this one for sure, was taken out and a warm deep brown was put in there, I think I would love it even more. But I really like the look that I did with this. It was pretty simple. I think it was just this shimmer and then a combination of the mattes, and really simple, easy look for work. And what I also really liked about that look was because I forgot mascara, I used a kohl eye pencil, and I just did a little bit of a wing, and it really made my lashes pop. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do that more often, especially if I keep forgetting to put some mascara in my bag. But that was number 4. Number 3 is the newest Nomad palette, New Zealand Stargazing. Now this is one that I purchased myself. It was not sent to me from the brand, and I really was influenced by Jan Van and Nikki Lynn because they both bought it, and I was like, okay, so obviously I have to buy it. I have only done 1 look so far with this palette. If you want to see more looks, you should definitely check out Jan and Nikki's channels because I believe they have more looks they've done. And the one I did was fairly purple, just super perps, and I'm planning to use this more and do more looks. I just haven't had time over this past week, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. Same typical Nomad formula. There are some multi-chromes in here that I'm excited to use. I really like the variety of colors and I like the depth of color. I think they're doing a lot better with having like some deeper shades, which I really appreciate. And yeah, I might do swatches if you want swatches. Some people hate them, but I'll definitely make sure to do some looks with this and just play around with it. Now, number 2, I actually did 4 looks with this palette, and it is the Saints, Angels, Sinners Cosmetics Jewels palette. Now, the way that I got this palette is that I contacted the brand to ask if they had any more of Not Your Basic Steph's palette collab that she did, and they didn't, but they actually offered to send me this Jewels palette. They offered it. I took a look. I was like, oh, for sure, I definitely want that. So I would say this color scheme, color story might make you think like spring and summer, but I also know that a lot of us use all the palettes all the times. You know what I mean? So I did 4 looks with this palette and managed across the 4 looks to use all of the shades. I really like the shimmers. There are some that are so smooth and nice. And then there is even a bit of duochrominess in there. This shade here is a chunky shimmer, kind of multi-chrome. Typically, I don't like chunky shades, but I did find that this one can be like, you can rub it and put it on your eye and it's not chunky. But that is just personal preference. I don't tend to like the chunkier shades, but this one is, the color is very, very nice. These 2 shades were harder. These 2 were a bit harder for me to work with just because they're more pastel, but I was able to build up the shades to get more of the trueness of the color. More of the true color. And again, personal preference, I like to be able to darken out my outer corners. So when I use this palette, again, I'm going to probably pull in a deeper matte, whether it is along this color scheme or like a black or something, and tap it or mix it with one of these shades just to make it a little deeper. Let me know if you have this. And at number 1, it's actually the look that I have on today. Today for work, I had a lot of meetings with people that I had never seen before and new clients that have never seen me before. And so I wanted to just not, you know, boom, pow them with lots of dramatic makeup as things fall. So I stuck with my tried and true work and office appropriate palette or office friendly palette, and that is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. And here that is, lots of neutral colors, neutral shades, a mix of mattes and shimmers. The shimmers tend to be like softer in terms of their bling, and I really just like it. And I wanted to do an all matte look because I do sometimes do all matte looks, and I challenged Erica Conger to do an all matte look because in one of her previous videos of this week, she said they're not her jam too much. So I was like, so now you have to do it. And that made me want to just pull out some mattes and do a matte look as well. Now, this palette is often my go-to for work things. There are a couple of palettes I have where I'm like, this is perfect for when I need some like office neutral kind of looks. Now, when I say office or work friendly, I hope that you understand what that means, but I'm going to describe it from my perspective or define it. I do have my own business, so I can essentially wear whatever I want, like whenever, however, whoever. But there are times where I do need to tone it down just a little bit because there's this idea of what is professional and not. And until our society changes a little bit, you know, there are so many things I think that go into that. And sometimes I also know who I'm seeing in terms of clients, and I don't want some like intense blinged out shadow that could really distract from the work that we're doing. So typically I will wear whatever I want to wear, but there are times where I'm like, I want to be very purposeful and mindful of what I'm wearing in this setting. So I don't mean that you only have to wear certain things in the office. You only have to wear certain things to go to the grocery store. I think you should wear whatever you want. There are just times for me personally where I do want to go for a certain kind of neutral, a bit more toned down look. Now, even with that being said, I really, really enjoy this look. I think it is, of course, it's all matte and has some just like neutral colors, but I also think it's a little sultry as well, and not in an over the top way. So this palette is one of my faves to do that with. What I should do also, because I do have the mini Biba, I might like compare the two and see if I can get like a similar look with just those 5 shades from the mini. Something to think about. Yeah, maybe next week I'll try to use some of the other palettes that I turn to for, you know, office and work friendly looks. That's it. That is all 5 of the palettes I used this week, well, along with a single shadow. So please let me know what you used over the past week. Tell me, are you using your single shadows or are you neglecting them? And that's for some of you. So I say we all try to at least include a single shadow once a week. Anyways, I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. Again, be sure to leave me a comment while you are liking the video. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.